Joe, how you doing, man?
I'm good, how are you?
Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you too.
Look at this hair, holy cow. This is like, this would be like 5 heads of hair, dude. I mean, like, you're legit like 5 people right now.
A lot of hair.
A lot of hair, man. So you expressed to me that you want to do kind of like the Leonardo DiCaprio look from Titanic, which I did a tutorial on in the past, but it's cool to see this on a real person, and this is gonna be great for your hair. Now, you've been growing this out for a little bit, and basically what I'm gonna do is work this in, try to keep a lot of length up here. It's just creating a little bit of a shorter length right here. I'll turn your head this way a little bit. And believe it or not, this haircut literally is just kind of a straight across haircut into here, and then it tapers down into the back. So when this all brushes back, it goes behind the ear and it just kind of lives there and stays there. And then this is actually has some length on top. So you've got some parts that are perfect, some parts that are too long, and some parts need to be cleaned up. So this is gonna be a good look for you, man. So you ready to go?
Awesome, I'm ready.
All right, cool.
Cool, thanks.
All right, so as I mentioned, this haircut, and as you can see on Joe's side right here, this is really long, this is kind of short in through here. So really what I'm gonna do, believe it or not, is when we get to this part here, is I'm gonna cut it to about right here and just give it an even shape, a little bit longer in the front, but I'm gonna get rid of this to kind of match this up. And this way it'll look a lot cleaner. But what I wanna do now is I wanna start right into the back. Okay, this back is really long and it needs to be cleaned up quite a bit. So this is where it was tapered down and through here for the look that Leo had. And what I'm gonna do first is establish kind of my length right into the bottom here. And this is done by simply just coming in and cutting straight across. And you always wanna establish your length sometimes first, because it gives you a clear vision of where you need to go and what you need to do. And I'm just gonna create basically a straight line right into the back. So now that I got this hair out of the way, I can kind of see where, his hairline a little bit. I can see what we got going on in through here, and it gives me more of a clear picture of where I need to cut this. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to start my angle right into the corner right here, okay? And this is going to allow me to then connect it on both sides, and then I can continue to work it in through the corners and into the sides and the front. So the first section I'm gonna do is I'm going to take this straight out from the head, and I'm coming in on a slight angle, like this, a slight diagonal, and I'm going to cut that as my guide. That's gonna be my first piece right through here. Now I'm gonna connect and bring it all the way down to the very bottom. And this little piece, nice piece right here, is going to be pretty much my guide for the entire back of the head. Now I'm pulling it out, straight out from the head, and I'm going to continue to do this throughout the entire back. And I'm going to work this section by section, pulling it straight out this way. I'm going to be leaving some length right in through here, because this part I don't really want to have a lot shorter, because that's where the length is when it goes into the sides. So I'm going to start to build some weight right into this area so it comes and connects back. So here is where we'll be lifting and pulling straight out more from the head this way. So this is where we're going to be building a little bit of weight and leaving a little bit of length, but also now tapering it down into the nape, as you can see. So I'm going to continue to do this throughout the entire back of the head. I'm going to work in panels going this way, straight down, do the same thing on this side, and then we'll take a look and see what we have when we're done with the back. So I wanted to just show you guys where we're at with the back and kind of how things are progressing. And as you can see, this is really coming in nicely. We're keeping the length right into here, and then we're tapering it down. So what I want to do is just go in and do some scissor over comb and lightly trim any areas that I think might need to be maybe a little more blended or softened up. And this is totally cool. I do this all the time. And then you raise it up a little bit more. Don't go too high or too short through here, because remember, we're keeping the length, as much of that length as we can. And now this is where you see the longest part through here. This is where it's going to connect. So you really want to have a clear vision of everything, of where you're going, what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing. And that's really essential with all types of hair cutting, but especially with this look. Let's bring it back a little bit. It's gonna go back in, double check, and it's totally fine to cross check and to make sure everything looks good. And I get lucky every once in a while where I don't have to cross check. But usually when I'm drinking, it's when I do my best work. I'm not, Joe, I'm not drinking, so maybe I should. And when I cross-check, what that really means is that you're going back in and just holding the hair out in different angles and different positions to make sure that it's all even. So this is looking really, really good right now. So now look, you see where we created this? Now we have to continue it into here so that this all works back right into this shape. And how we're gonna do that is gonna be real simple. So here is where, this is really awesome, this part. So look at that. You see where we left off into here? That's where the weight starts to build up. And this is simply where we're gonna connect this. And then look, see what it does? It creates now a clear path of where we need to go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to comb this straight down. Joe has really, really thick hair, by the way. I'm gonna comb this straight down and I'm just gonna cut and connect that part right there. Same thing now here. Comb it straight down, and we're gonna cut it straight across. And now you can visually see where you need to cut. We got those longer pieces right into here. I'm using the comb as my guide. I'm not using any tension. And I'm kind of using it as a ruler to help me so that when I'm cutting, I can see exactly where I'm cutting. And see what that does? It creates a nice, beautiful straight line through here. And now, I always suggest leaving the front a little bit longer to begin with, because if you need to go back in and clean it up, then you can. But since we are working right in this area, let's comb this all straight down. And here's where we need to cut right here. And we're gonna cut this straight across here and simply just connect the whole thing. And there we go. So now we bring the hair back and look what happens. We have that look. You can tuck it behind the ear just like this. It comes down just in the front. Look at that, Joe. You see that a little bit? Mm-hmm. I'm not bad, huh? I get lucky.
Not bad.
So this side is done here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Same exact thing. We're gonna pick up where we left off right into the back. And now we're simply just gonna connect. You wanna make sure that you comb all the hair around the ear as well, because sometimes these hairs like to hide in here and they don't come out. So, we're gonna connect right there. Now we can see where we need to go. And the same thing. Once I have my guide, I can then comb the hair straight down. And I can use my comb, kind of like a ruler here. Then we'll do the same thing in the front, and then we'll work into some of the layering and how we're gonna soften this up a little bit. So before we move into the top, I just wanna go over one quick thing here, and that's the very, very front. Now, Joe can wear this to the side, but I also brought everything down in the middle, just in case he wants to wear it in the middle and kind of like over and back to have like a variety of ways he wants to style it. So all I'm gonna do is I'm just going to comb everything straight down in the front and just make sure it's all balanced and all even. So as you can see, we've got just a little bit of a longer piece right through here, which is totally fine. And you want it to kind of come to a point anyway, because that means that it's gonna be the longest point right here, which is what you want. And then that means that it can all kind of brush back. And you have to always work around the client to make sure that you have good body positioning. And there we go. So this comes to about right here. Check on this side. Same thing, we're good. All right, and we're looking good so far, Joe.
Awesome.
So now we're gonna slick this all back and just get a good feel to see how we're looking as far as the length and stuff like that. So the back looks phenomenal. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm just going to remove a little bit of the weight and just kind of clean it up a little bit. It wasn't a whole lot of layering going on. It's really about the shape, but it's good to kind of make sure the ends are clean for Joe's hair, because you do want his ends to look good too. This does make a difference. Even if you're skimming the ends, because the ends, if you don't cut them or trim them, they're gonna look kind of fly away and they're not gonna look the greatest. And all you need to do is keep it very, very simple, follow the head shape, skim the ends, and it's also gonna help remove a little bit of that weight, believe it or not. And the weight is what prevents the hair from moving. So I'm gonna go throughout the whole top of the head, and then I'll have you guys take a look and see what we're doing when we get towards the front here. So now that we're right on the top, I'm gonna hold everything straight up, and as you can see, the ends need some trimming because they haven't been cut. He's been growing his hair. So it's totally fine to skim the ends, so it gives it a more solid look, and it also keeps the hair healthier. I'm gonna do this throughout the top, into the corners, and in the very, very front, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to kind of over direct back a little bit so I can keep the length in the very, very front. Joe, unfortunately, he's about 6'8", and I'm 4'3", so it's very tough cutting his hair, raising me. I can't even reach. No. All right, so let's just turn you towards the camera here, and the very, very front, I'm just gonna hold it straight up this way. There's where we need to cut, just on those ends a little bit, just to make sure that the ends are clean. And again, this is totally normal and something I recommend. And then to the corners here, there's the corners, trim those down, and again, we're following the whole head shape. So I'm gonna finish this up, and then I'll put some of my product in it, and then we'll style it and see how we look towards the end of the video. All right, so I'm gonna use a little bit of my Tidal Wave sea salt spray, which is one of my favorite products. It's a very light holding sea salt spray, gives a little bit of texture and control. Also has UV protection, and it helps, has heat protection from blow drying too, so this is really, really cool. Smells good, right, Joe?
Yeah, it does.
So now I'm gonna blow dry his hair, and then when it's dry, I'm gonna see what kind of product we're gonna put in, but we might end up making it look a little more kind of like a wet look. So we might go with maybe a pomade, but let's dry it and then we'll see what we got. Okay guys, so as you can see, Joe's hair looks really, really awesome. It does have that Leonardo DiCaprio look, you know, from that classic Leo look from Titanic, which is what we were going for. The Tidal Wave gave it enough texture to where if you just wanted to wear it back, it has a nice amount of hold to it and control, but as you can see, I'm running my fingers through it, but it does have a little bit of that kind of sea salt beachy texture to it, which is what Tidal Wave does, but it's not over the top, which is what I like. But we want to go with we want to pretend that Joe here is going to be on the Titanic right now, all right? He wants to feel on top of the world, right? So what we're going to do is, and don't forget, I have to go back in and clean up his neck down in here, get rid of these neck hairs, but that's last. So I want to use my pomade Money, because we're going to go for that money look, right? You want to look money, don't you? I want you to look money. So take a scoop, run it through your hands. Now a pomade is going to give a more of a sleek look, all right? That's the biggest thing with pomades, is it gives it that kind of wet, shinier look, but that's fine. So I'm gonna run it through, and you have a lot of hair, a lot of hair.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna work this all through, and the good thing about this pomade is that it's not heavy at all. It's one of my favorites because you can keep running your fingers through it like I'm doing, and it's not getting greasy, it's not getting heavy, and it's really, really easy to work into the hair, which I love. I might actually even need a little more because your hair's so thick. But as you can see, it's working in really, really nice, and this actually might be perfect. Now I'm using my hands to style this. You can use a brush if you wanted to make it a little more of a classic look. You can totally use a brush, but I'm just gonna leave it like this with my hands because I think it really, really created a nice, perfect shape in here. And that's what's great about these products, is that they're so workable and user-friendly that it's not gonna be heavy, it's not gonna be greasy, whereas a lot of products out there that I've used is you put it in your hair and once you start working it in, you're finished. Where this is very, very easy to work with, and that's why I love working with my products. So I think we are good to go. Let's give a little turn this way, Joe, so that everyone can see. Back this way. I think you're on top of the world, man.
I feel like it.
So I'm gonna give you the mirror for the grand revealing, so you can finally see it. You ready?
I am.
Here, hold on to the mirror. What do you think, man?
Looks great.
Yeah, bring this up. So, there we go. You like it?
Yes.
You feel like Leo?
I do.
It looks pretty awesome, doesn't it?
Yeah, thank you very much.
My pleasure, man. So thank you guys for watching, and thank you, Joe, for being my model, and I'll see you guys next time for more tutorials with the Salon Guy.